Good day. Welcome to the Talk It Out podcast. My name is Neal Bailey-Harper. I'm in my studio again. Wow, this feels good. You know, it's kind of like the analogy of you're on the road and you got to go to the bathroom real bad. Not number one or number two, but you don't want to just stop anywhere. You know, McDonald's, not like, no, you want to you get old to get settled in your ways. So you want to get to your bathroom, you let it out, and it's like, Hey, bad analogy, but you get my point. This is the monthly menu. Yeah, I've been gone for about a month. I'm not going to do that again, but this is the monthly menu. I want to talk about sports. I want to talk about entertainment. I want to talk a little bit about politics, a little bit about life. That is The Accidental Genius you're listening to. Donald Fagen from one of the 5 best albums ever made. It's called The Night Fly, Grammy Award-winning album from 1982, I believe. The song is Ruby Ruby. Listen, it's a Saturday where you could drive, ride, sit on your porch. This guy adds to everything. He's like a spice. So here's the deal. Let's start with sports. Warriors, Raptors. Okay, I'm a Philadelphia 76er guy, but I'm in the tank for greatness. I love dominance. The Warriors are great. And I'm not going to put an asterisk. Toronto took it. And they did exactly what they're supposed to do. They did what a Raptor would do. Whatever they see prey, they go eat it. If the prey is limping, they don't care. If the prey can't run as fast as everybody else can, they don't care. They go eat you anyhow. So they did what they were supposed to do. But anybody out there really believe that 57 points of 62 points a game not in your lineup didn't make a difference? And the good thing is that, yes, this dynasty, this run of 5 finals, we think is over. We don't know till the playoffs next year. The other thing is that I personally think they're staying together. I really do. I think Durant and well, you got to pay Clay. I don't care. You pay Clay, period. He showed you. And again, let's put to rest, that is the best backcourt in the NBA. Full stop, period. End of story. That's the best backcourt in the NBA. Anybody that challenged those light-skinned boys' heart or their courage or their mettle, shut up. They did their thing. Win, lose, or draw. But the Raptors took it. And we forgot about Kawhi. But you know what? Everybody else stepped up. My homeboy, North Philadelphia born and bred, Kyle Lowry, did his thing. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the Raptors. I kind of wish the Dubs had been healthy, but I could say that about the Cavaliers in 2015 and blase, and it goes on up. Toronto's the champs, okay? Period. I like hockey too. The Bruins and the Blues, I'm really into hockey. Good Stanley Cup final. Think about this. In any other sport, a team that has the worst record in the sport in the middle of the season, the worst record, period, wins the championship. That's not happening in football, baseball, basketball, maybe not even soccer, but it can happen in hockey because all you got to do is have a goalie to say, I don't give a fuck. You had a new coach come in, an interim coach come in, again from Philadelphia, Greg Berube, came in, said, look, switch shit up, let's do this. They went from the worst record in the league to the Stanley Cup champions. And the coolest thing in sports, whether you like hockey or not, watch at the end of the championship. They celebrate for 10 seconds, and then they all form a line. And it's the ceremonial handshake. Lord Stanley it is the coolest thing, I think, in sports. So, and then it's the Raptors' first title, Toronto's first title. That's good shit. That's good shit. Okay, I'm gonna move on to entertainment now. Game of Thrones. I thought it was great. I thought the finale was great. Those of you who I don't know what you were looking for, if you were looking for something else. I wanted selfishly, and you cannot be selfish with this show because people come and they go. But selfishly, I wanted 2 things to happen. I wanted Arya Stark to live, and I wanted Tyrion Lannister to live. Everything else was up off the table for me. I did not see Daenerys getting taken out like that, although it makes perfect sense. My first question was, why is that dragon not eating him right now? But then I understand that too, him of the same blood. And the fact is, the Starks, that's how the story connected from the very beginning. You took their dad out in the first season. but the Stark family ends up ruling the Seven Kingdoms. It was a great story, a great ending, and it sets up new beginnings to stories, not sequels, not add-ons, not Game of Thrones 2. It sets up a whole new different story. It was great. But the only thing that did is that fucked up Sunday nights. This again, the accidental genius, because it's just his musical presence that brings this sound about. This is Donald Fagen from the same album, The Nightfly. It's called The Nightfly. Listen to this. He's Lester. He's a radio talk guy. Really cool. Won't you turn your radio down? The 7-second delay even brings that in the lyrics. That's great. Okay, so that took away Sunday night TV for me. See, here's the thing. I just measure shows. Some shows start off really good. I like Billions. I like Big Little Lies. But there's nothing that clicks in my head every weekend that says, hey, Billions is coming back on. It did for the first couple seasons. But even that whole dynamic, great actors, both the lead actors are really great, but come on. That just, it's real. That's what people could really look like in real life. So it is real, but it's taking a hard time to get used to and seeing their characters in those roles. Now, Wendy, that's a whole nother thing. She's fine. But in their characters in those roles. But I'm having trouble finding something else to watch. But I did find one episode, the first episode of City on the Hill with Kevin Bacon. It was really good. It's about the Westies. It's kind of a furthering the story of The Town, the movie The Town with Ben Affleck. And I thought about that because it's about Charlestown, Massachusetts bank robbers. They must got some shit going on in Charlestown, where this whole city is known for all the bank robbers. That's cool as shit. It's crazy, but it's cool. And I looked at this, the first episode was really good. And at the end, I noticed the executive producers are Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. So it is an extension of The Town. It looks really good. The first episode is really good. The second episode comes on tomorrow. I'm in on that. The other thing is I'm starting to do some more history. I'm getting back to my old school rap stuff. And I'm listening to guys sparked by car rides with my son and stuff like that. I'm listening to more old Kanye. I'm listening to Rakim again. I listen to Khalid Twelly. You know who I'm talking about. I listen to them, but then I always have to go back because I want to hear how they sound, just the tenor of the sound, listening to somebody like Kool Moe Dee or early LL Cool J. Really solid stuff. The 90s rappers are underrated. They really are. But because we get so generational so fast now, we forget that the 80 rappers were really good too. You know, and we don't have to always compare them. It's an evolution to it. There are peaks and valleys, just like there are in a lot of stuff. But man, some of those guys, Nas and right after Biggie and Tupac, it really went on. And you know who else is forgotten? De La Soul is forgotten a whole lot for being a really good musical entity. Groups like De La Soul and Naughty by Nature, they were original and they were strong entities. And so they're getting lost in the sauce in a lot of this stuff. And they really shouldn't be. So we need to kind of find a way to revive that. Maybe it's done on Sirius FM. Maybe it hasn't been done. So that's with the music thing. Outside of that, it's not too much TV. Oh, now, the show is stupid. First season I watched it had some interesting stuff, trying to see where it goes. But it's kind of like a modern day version with fine women of an old Batman TV shows, and it's Claws on TNT. Now, I'm not saying it's a good show. It's a different kind of show. Come on, it's Niecy Nash. It's Niecy Nash exposed, along with the I think her name was Lori James or somebody, but the big haired blonde. It's interesting, but it's basically a visual thing. That's that. I'm gonna move on to politics now. Here's the deal. This graduating class this year in college, they're the first class who's really lived their whole life digitally. There's been a camera in their hand ever since. They probably don't have a personal photo book of themselves, but there might be 1,000 people who have pictures of them from the time they were 2 that they've never even seen in their life. So very little's personal in some ways, but they've personalized their own self more than any generation before. Think about that. They don't have a lot of personal things like we have. We have photo books that we share with family and friends, and then you see have other stuff that you might put out publicly. Well, I know some people that have their grandkids and kids are on the Facebook or whatever from the time they were born. They don't have no choice in it. Every little picture they have is out there. Now, that's their choice. Fine, that's America. That's what we do. But this is the first generation that has done that has lived that. And in life now, it's sad they have such good positive things going. But in our political world, you still have to understand you got to put that phone down and see what's going on in your life from a governmental standpoint. Make a long story short, you got to vote. If you're over 18, you have to vote. They are trying to change the laws for young ladies to decide what they could do with their bodies. These 60, 70-year-old men mostly are trying to make that decision. These same 60, 70-year-old men, for all of you young men out there who don't see this, they are trying to start a war with Iran. 60, 70-year-olds start a war that 20 to 25-year-olds die for. Let me say that again. There's never been a war in history where 60 or 70 or 50-year-old men don't start it, that 20 and 25-year-old men don't die in it. You have to become socially aware. You can be aware of Justin Bieber wanting to fight fucking Tom Cruise. Be aware of some real shit that involves you. This is Donald Fagen. Again, IGY. What a Beautiful World This Will Be from the Nightfly album. And you know what? I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's ass. I'm not doing pipe dreams here. We could actually realistically make tomorrow better doing certain things today. We can make next week better if we all intentionally did certain things today. I don't hate to harp on it. We're going to have to vote. It's not about how stupid the media looks sometimes. And let's understand one other thing. Nobody calls the media more stupid than the media itself. Talk radio doesn't seem to think they're the media. But again, 50 to 60-year-old men mostly are on talk radio telling you what the media is doing, and they're reaching 10, 20 million people. They're the media too. You just can't shut down because it doesn't look good. I don't like peas in my Chinese food. I love Chinese food. It's not that I stop eating it. I take the peas out. Yeah, I get laughed at a little bit sometimes. I don't care. I'd rather take it out than have it explode when I bite it in my mouth. So what I'm saying is that take the parts out that you need. You can't shut down. You can't shut down on what's happened. You can't shut down on your civic responsibility. There's reasons why we stopped teaching civics. That's another podcast. But you can't shut down on your civic responsibility because you're part of a family too. And you're going to have a family in your own way someday, somehow. These responsibilities shift and it can't be a surprise to you. Lastly, it's sad, nothing sadder than the event itself, a mass shooting. The only thing that's sadder than a mass shooting in our life in this country is that 10 days later, nobody's talking about a mass shooting. Virginia Beach on the 31st of May, 13 people were killed. Man goes into an office. I guess he got the wrong answer and decided to go out shooting and killing people. Here's the deal about that. If you're having a bad life and if suicide at some point in time is an option, because that's pretty much what this is, go into your bathroom, close the door, write a letter to your mother, and blow your fucking brains out. Leave everybody else alone. If it's cold, it's cold. But leave everybody else alone. Since 2017, a mass shooting, as described by the gun violence, the American Gun Violence Group or something like that, but they defined a mass shooting like Stanford University does, of 4 or more people being shot at one time. Since 2017, January of 2017, there have been 30 months since that time. 27 of the 30 months, there's been a mass shooting in the United States of America. Let me say that again. 27 of the 30 months since the beginning of 2017, there has been a mass shooting in the United States of America. Freedom comes at a price. I understand that. The price should not be going to work, randomly being shot, going to school, randomly being shot, going to the movies, and randomly being shot. It shouldn't, but it does, because we don't want to change it. 45 and his bitch boys, and I call them bitch boys because they're not doing anything but kissing his ass. We got to get cold with it because that's where it is. That's where it is. Change the laws, change the game. And that's my monthly roundup. I'll be back really sooner than you think. But listen, guys, stay connected. Stay connected. I'll talk to you soon. What a beautiful world.